My name is Manuel Alejandro Ruiz, known as Boy Wonder, Chosen Few.
Boy Wonder.
His first album is the fourth top-selling Latin album of the year.
I'm going all over the world to record the top international artists worldwide.
Chosen Few.
I remember that day, the record comes on.
I got that guitar rhythm for Sweat. Bam, 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 bam.
I don't think anybody's ever used that sample.
I'm not gonna let anybody do that.
The no motivated me more.
I was born in Spanish Harlem, grew up in 116th Street and 5th. Had a great childhood. I'm 100% Puerto Rican, and I grew up in the disco era. There was a guy in the corner called Timmy Regisford, and there was another Spanish kid, Luis Rivera, that used to play, and they were playing disco music, and I got drawn into it. My uncle had 2 turntables in a mixer in his house, and one day I asked him, hey, could I learn how to do that? And he said, sure, you can use it any time, and I was hooked from that day forth. I always had the passion to write, and I knew that it was DJing, remixing, and then producing and songwriting. For about 6 years, we were big remixers known as Clavillis and Cole. I had produced a project called Seduction. I created a girl group first, and we had 3 top 40 pop records. And at that time, I was working on 2 projects. I was working on a session for Jive Records, and it was a terrible session. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. That session was so bad that I kind of really thought the career was over. You know, being a Latin kid from Harlem and getting the chance to make records and you're doing well, every record forward's got to be just as good if you want to make it. So I left with a guy group named Trilogy that I was working with. The only good thing about that session was that I created the guitar sound for Gonna Make You Sweat. I didn't know I was gonna make Gonna Make You Sweat yet, but I thought the sound was pretty dope.
I worked on over 7 music compilation albums. When I re-released Chosen Few El Documental, we had a lot of success. You know, the project went double platinum and helped give people a visual sense of the culture. Parque Sur was a little bit different. We just had signed a new artist, Shooter.
Se abren los cielos y caigo, yo tengo algo que no se compra. Voy a hacerme mío, siempre ha sido el mantra. Mezclando la...
I remember that day, I'm like, I gotta work with Shooter, we gotta figure something to do, or, you know, something to work on. And I remember that, in a place where I just wasn't in my zone. I'm like, damn, I don't know what to do. I'm thinking in my head, I'm talking to myself in my head, and I'm trying to see as I'm watching Shooter walk or his gestures, see if I can maybe get an idea.
We end up going to a store, and I happen to hear a record, J Balvin and the Black Eyed Peas.
This is the rhythm of the night. Baby, tonight's like fuego.
And I saw that it had a sample, and I was actually looking at it and hearing how creative they were able to put it together. And then the record after that, Gonna Make You Sweat, came on.
When Trilogy told me that Gonna Make You Sweat was too pop for them, and I asked them 3 times, and they were like, nah, man, we need something a little harder. I said, you guys are crazy. That triggered the idea of, man, I always wanted to be an artist. I could feature unsigned acts. I could use that as a forum for me to be an artist behind them.
And the winner is CNC Music Factory.
Would everybody sweat? Estábamos desayunando una mañana, no me acuerdo, un deli por ahí, y salió la canción en la radio. Y ahí fue como que él tuvo la idea.
I've never seen nobody, really use this as a sample. I can't be the only guy to think about this. It's a big record, but I've never heard nobody do it.
I'm not gonna let anybody do that, I want to keep the integrity of the song.
So there's a quick little concept.
I remember going to the studio, got a little bit creative. I got with Rewire, the producers, and we chopped it up. But when I did it, it wasn't with the intentions to say, hey, I'm gonna make a record out of this. I just saw it as, now I got something to see what he can do. I remember hearing it for the first time, and I'm like, whoa, this sounds interesting. There's something special, something different. But then I said to myself, we gotta make sure you have the clearance and the sample. I remember going to a top clearinghouse. I'm not gonna mention their names because I didn't get the job done. It was like a typical answer, like no. And no excuses and nothing. Let me try another place. No, but they connected me to the other clearance house. They said no and no reason. And I said, listen, I understand that there's a no, but usually there's a reason why. This record's never been cleared before. Do you know someone named Robert Clavillis? And then I was like, no. Well, if you can find him, that might be the best way to start.
I did walk away in 1996, but I think really what caused me not to really chase after it was the moment pirating came out, streaming.
I was really thinking about it, and it became like more personal. Damn, there's gotta be some type of way. A promoter called me, and at that time he was working with a record label, Cutting Records. And I remember Cutting Records did all those house records. So he connected me.
I founded Cutting Records in 1983. I used to see the guys at the studios, in the clubs, and around 1990, Gonna Make You Sweat came out, and we had Wiggle It.
I wanna see you wiggle it, just a little bit, as it grooves.
I got a call from Boy wanting to clear the sample for Gonna Make You Sweat. I told him, oh, let me hear the song, and then I'll let you know.
But he did tell me, and a lot of people were going after that record. So he said, listen, I don't want you to get your hopes high.
Recuerdo inmediatamente que fue en el año 90 que esa canción salió. La bailé muchísimo con mis estudiantes. Yo creo que al 90% de la gente odia el ejercicio, pero el 100% de la gente le gusta la fiesta. Y esto es una fiesta. Con la música que mandamos alrededor del mundo, todos esos instructores son como si fueran DJs. Entonces llegaron artistas muy importantes como Daddy Yankee, Pitbull, Jennifer López, que empezaron a ver esta plataforma tan gigante que tenemos nosotros para lanzar música y lanzar artistas que empezaron a mandarnos la música. Entonces siempre tengo que escuchar mucha música y recuerdo que cuando la escuché por primera vez no tuve que escuchar más de 12 segundos para decirle al departamento de música, quiero esa canción. Me decían, Beto, es imposible, no nos dejan utilizarlo porque no quieren, no se puede, y a veces pasa a veces con música, y yo digo, wow, qué desperdicio, ¿no? Porque se podría hacer algo bueno.
I've heard 3 major no's, but the no motivated me more.
Clavillis was completely not on board with it.
I'm responsible for selling 50 million singles, 250 million records. Those are actual physical CD discs that were sold. They're not streams.
He was like, Aldo, that's my baby. I don't give that up to nobody.
What's a million streams gonna get me? A $5 check in the mailbox?
So I already in my mind thought, well, you know, I'm not gonna hear back for maybe another week or 2. And I think it was 2 days later, he tells me he has Robert on the phone.
It was really me finally taking a listen to it in the car.
Everybody's told me he's turned it down, so I had to think, like, what am I gonna say, you know, to think to even have that opportunity?
My 14-year-old son came along with me, and I popped it in and turned the music, and he was the one that really liked it a lot. He was the one like, yo, that's pretty dope. And I was like, I thought it was cool, but he's like, you should do it. So he's kind of the one that influenced me to say, Wonder, let's have a talk.
Boom, it worked.
When Robert did the record, he had created that concept with CNC Music Factory to feature artists. And Shooter was an upcoming new artist as well.
Saber que yo iba a hacer el remix de una canción que es mundial, sabe que es una canción icónica, histórica, fue emocionante.
Robert Clavillis, he's from East Harlem, and I wanted to keep that essence, so Jadakiss got involved with the project, because obviously,
This is New York!
he's like a top 5 lyricist.
This sample right here is something I've heard several times in my mind. You couldn't say you didn't know that song or you never heard it.
Forget about the street and get about your seat and do whatever you feel, it's all about the beat.
It's a historic remake.
Lit, honey showing me love, they real affectionate.
And yo pensé cuando hicimos los cambios del ritmo, I always had a feeling con John C.
Cuando entré el reggaetón entro yo, ¿me entiendes? Y le doy ese sandungueo.
La pongo mansa, quiere agarrarlo en confianza music.
Tenemos todos los públicos. Las personas que cuando se pegó esa canción, sale Jada, Kiss Papi, una leyenda de Nueva York. Vengo yo y Chure, que es de la sangre nueva de ahora, ¿me entiendes?
Me parece muy bien que estas generaciones disfruten algo muy bueno que salió en ese tiempo y que vuelvan otra vez a envolverse, obviamente con el sonido moderno.
Coming from Yonkers, New York, we have a folk ship with Latinos. They're our brothers, they're our family, they're our peoples. We give them soul food, they teach me Spanish, we eat platano. Boy Wonder, chosen few.
Robert started with CNC Music Factory. They were Latinos that created a global sound and opening doors for other producers. And I think the beauty is to be able to cross over, you know, to blend ethnicities, you know, the culture, and give it that one sound with the one song that everybody's gonna remember, you know.
Hispanic Heritage Month, making history, Miami Dolphins halftime show.
DJ, don't stop the music. Don't stop the music.
To see reggaeton right now blow up and be worldwide is awesome for someone like me because back then there weren't too many. Now they're killing it and I'm happy.